Hello. I gotta set my levels up. Oh, God. Alright, I'm clocked in. Welcome to another episode of the Philly Kuts Show. I'm your host, Philly Kuts, and today we're going to be discussing the Cinco De Mayo bash. Floyd Money Mayweather against Miguel Cotto, the Pride of Puerto Rico. Mayweather put on a classic boxing clinic, heavily emphasized by his impeccable defense, his ability to make fighters hit below 20%, his ability to parry with the shoulders, to do the roll, his ability to make people miss, his ability to get people to come in close and miss, and not have to run away and miss. You know, that's Mayweather. And that's the classicness that happened today when they first came into the ring, you know, and they got in for the stare down. Cotto was, you know, definitely looking down at Mayweather. He looked very, very angry. Mayweather was really, you know, not looking at Cotto. You know, he's kind of like this. He did appear nervous, but once, you know, the referee said, all right, it's time, it's ready to go, Mayweather bucked up real quick, looked right at Cotto, and flashed a Pacquiao-esque smile. You know, that cool, smooth operator, I know what's going to happen in this fight, I'm going to win smile. And I think right from there, I felt this guy knows what he's going to do. I got to say that Mayweather looked pretty pumped. He looked beefy. He looked to be bigger. Cotto came out strong early. I think he attacked Mayweather right from the get-go. However, what, you know, it really showcased what was to come. He just, you know, could never connect with a solid hit. Mayweather was able to just control the pace of the fight, I felt, from the get-go. In round two, in the, you know, opening minute, Cotto kind of like bucked up and started to, you know, lift Mayweather up against the ropes, and he was putting him like literally up on his shoulder. I thought that was a little bizarre. Maybe it was to show, hey man, I got some strength here. It was just bizarre. It was bizarre, and I don't think it really fazed Mayweather. And it actually, to me, seemed a bit silly. Mayweather just from the get-go seemed way too fast. He seemed to also be drawing in Cotto, and this seemed to be the theme of the fight. Theme of the fight, really, and I'm not really going to do a round-by-round breakdown, but the theme of the fight really was that Mayweather was letting Cotto come in up against, you know, letting him pin him up against the ropes, letting, you know, Mayweather would kind of almost relax on the ropes, and Cotto would come in, and he just couldn't hit anything. He just couldn't get a clean hit. You know, Mayweather is such a master at rolling the shoulders, parrying with the shoulders, that he could never, Cotto could never really get a solid hit. And I really think that he wanted this to occur. Mayweather, that is. Mayweather wanted Cotto to come in, but it was really a dictation of the fight. Come and get me. I'm going to let you come and get me. I'll even put myself up against the ropes to let you come and get me. But you're not going to get me. You can't hit me. You can't hit me, bro. You cannot hit me because I'm too quick. My defense is wizardry. That's the only word I can use to describe Mayweather's defense. Is he's a wizard. He's a wizard at defense, and he makes people miss. And he makes them miss in a fashion that is not, you know, elusive to the point where I'm backpedaling, I'm running away from you. No, it's like, I'm going to invite you in, come on into my fucking house, and you're still going to miss me. And Cotto, you know, has a good inside game. Cotto has a very good inside game, and he still could not register hits. He could not register hits. And that was like basically the theme of the fight. I scored it ultimately Mayweather 9, Cotto 3. Everything that Cotto threw was, you know, essentially getting parried with the shoulders or getting caught with the gloves. He tried to hit Mayweather a bunch of times with some key lefts. He just couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Nothing came in clean. Nothing registered well. It may have looked, as though Cotto was, winning in some rounds, putting Mayweather up against the ropes so much and so many times during the rounds, but he wasn't hitting anything clean, and then Floyd could counter and hit him many, many times with various uppercuts. They weren't exactly hard hits, but, you score on him. So he's the master, man. He's a wizard. The first round I even gave to Cotto was round 6. And I almost felt, in lockstep with Atlas, who was the commentator, Teddy Atlas, that it was probably around that Mayweather was taking off. He wasn't really active that much. But he, at the same time, no matter what Cotto landed, it never really hurt Mayweather. I don't think Mayweather was hurt at all. Not even once during this fight. Not even once. So that was the first round that I gave to Cotto, was in round 6. Again, in round 7, Mayweather was just showing his defensive wizardry, showing his elusiveness, inviting Cotto in over and over, making Cotto miss. By round 9, I really felt the crowd was duped. And Atlas made a good point. He said, unless you're up close in the arena, as a spectator watching the fight, you're in the first 3 or 4 or 5 rows, you really can't see what exactly is happening when the fighters are, jarring each other, when Mayweather is up against the ropes, and Cotto, keeps aggressively coming in, yet never connecting fully with anything. The crowd gets kind of duped. They get kind of duped. And it kind of reminded me a bit of the Pacquiao-Marquez fight, where everyone just was going ecstatic every time Marquez was hitting a shot. Pacquiao was in command of that fight, I felt, too. So, I can't fall for it. Neither should you. So, it was a clinic. It was a clinic, man. I really thought that the highlight of the fight was the interview that Mayweather had with Larry Merchant at the end. That, to me, was the most interesting part of the fight. Larry started out the interview by saying that Mayweather had apologized to him. And that's in reference to the last interview that they had, in which Mayweather got very, very upset at Larry. And, words were exchanged. And, well, it prompted Larry to tell Mayweather that if he was 30 years younger, he would kick his ass. I don't think so, Larry. It was cute, for lack of a better word. And I think that the true Floyd Mayweather came out a little bit. He served up some compliments to Cotto. Said that Cotto had a lot of heart. Cotto was a good guy. He was a competitor. He was fierce. He also stated, Mayweather stated, that he was blessed, that he lives a blessed life. And he truly, indeed, is. He is a phenomenal defensive fighter. And it started to make me think that maybe this is a glimpse of the true Mayweather. He was very calm, very collected. He actually seemed nice. He seemed nice. And I think that maybe he wasn't playing the persona that we all have come to know Mayweather as, the flamboyant, the boisterous, the over-the-top confident man. And let me put my objectivity aside here for a minute. I fall for it as well. I just don't particularly like that persona that Mayweather portrays, and he's doing his job. He's playing the villain. It sells fights, and it works. And, it gets me upset. I don't like it. I hate it. And I'm admittingly a Floyd Mayweather hater. And I root for anybody who gets in that ring against him. And I'm making a disclosure. But I think that I can preserve my objectivity enough to admit that Floyd is bar none, probably the best fighter in boxing. But He still has to fight Manny. And you can't, every fight that these guys have, Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather, they get compared together, and anybody who makes a video about boxing isn't going to make a Mayweather video, most likely, or a Pacquiao video without talking about the other. Because it's time to fight. It's time to fight. I mean, we have to have the fight. Larry asked an interesting question to Mayweather. He said, will you be willing to let up on your, 40% purse requirement in order to get into that ring with Pacquiao? And Mayweather never answered the question. He deflected that question and again brought up the steroid testing matters. So, I don't know. Will the shenanigans continue? Is this what it's going to be? That, Mayweather's going to say, well, I'm not going to fight unless he commits to the test, to the more stringent testings that I want him to do? Is Pacquiao going to say, well, I'm not going to fight him because he wants to take 60% of the purse and he's only willing to give me 40? It just, kept blaming Bob Arum for the problems. In negotiations. So, I don't know. Perhaps Arum is the great Satan here, but I don't know. But anyway, in the end, predictable fight. I didn't predict it, but I'm sure lots of you did out in YouTube. It was a, just split decision. Unanimous decision. Predictable fight. Unanimous decision. Mayweather big time over Miguel Cotto. Just couldn't handle the defensive wizardry. Couldn't handle the luring in. Come on in, man. You ain't gonna take it. Alright, guys, that's Philly Kuts. Let me know what you think about the fight and comment below. Thanks for watching. Yacht.